Hello, it's me again, Rumi. I hope you had a nice break, that you had your coffee. I definitely had mine. So now we are going to continue with optimizing your digital assets. And so we are still in this topic, audience development. If you take a moment just to read through this slide which you see here. So we did creating content for digital. As you know, we spoke about mixed media, content stack, content distribution. As mentioned, let's say for those who are a little bit older here, we started with the print. It's exactly the same thing, just that now instead of taking it to the print shop, you have to put it online. The knowledge is here. We need, this digital dust. If you are new or younger generation, digital will be easier for you for sure, but content and stuff, that would be something where you will have to focus more. So we now go to the second chapter, which is here, optimizing your digital assets. That's now getting seriously into digital, because how do you rank in such? That's one thing that we will talk about. We all want to be on the first page of Google, if possible, among the first 3 listings at the top. About speed, the speed matter, guess what? Of course it does. And user interface or user experience, how some people also, call it. Now, again, all these, what you see, data management, advertising revenue, reader revenue, all this is coming, in this scope of the workshops. As mentioned, everything is recorded. If it's super new, just sit back, enjoy, note down a few things, and ask questions. Plus, if you have specific things, send an email. I'm sure Magda, our friend, in chat box will, provide you with all this necessary information. As always, what options do you have? We will share case studies from, colleagues or bigger publications. Some of them are bigger publications who actually managed, to apply these digital, forums and got successful results. And your actions, it's really easy to say, yeah, you should decide for yourself and, just take what you need. But it's a problem if you don't know what you need. So embrace this knowledge, see if it applies to you, and get in touch, because now it's really good time. In a few years, this will be our daily life, as mentioned previously. So let's start. We have about 40 minutes. Let's see what we can learn here. The importance of customers' experience. Also, abbreviation, which you will see, it's often UX. So we have strategy, we know what we want to do, we have content. And now it's really important not to forget about customer experience. With other words, if I publish everything, is it attractive enough and easy enough to use? Can my customers use that on their computers and on their, little screens, smartphones or iPads in this case? Our focus, that's kind of, overview. How can I rank? How fast do I have to be? And what do I have to do that my customers will click on it? So ranking in search, speed, and user interface. We will start with the search, which is one of the important things, first page Google, or at least, first 5. If possible, for my selected term. Searches are happening every second across Google and other search engines. So let's see what ranking means and how I can, get the most out of it. I would suggest to focus on this abbreviation, which is SERP. If you don't know what that means, it is first page of Google explained, or search engine results page, SERP, search engine results page, for us, the first page there. And imagine there are 10 results for every question asked. That's the thing. The main page, as you can see, it's made up out of 2 sections. So ads, obviously, this will be paid advertisement. These are links, at the top of the most searches and results, and obviously they are labeled. If you click on it, the person will for sure pay for your click. And the other one are, organic results. So what is organic results? These are not paid ads, but they are the answers which Google has decided are the best fit for the question asked. So actually, you have to convince Google, the machine, that you are, that you have the best answer for something what I asked. That's not easy, but it's possible. So, ranking factors. As you will see, we have here 1, 2, 3, 5, 5 ranking factors would be. Meaning of your query. That's the intent behind, my query or your query. Understanding intent is fundamentally understanding the language, and it's a critical aspect of search. When I say understanding the language, it doesn't mean that my grammar is perfect or something. I have to have the language of the content, the language of the machine, if you wish. Relevance of web pages. Next, obviously, this is all to do with algorithms analyze, because algorithms analyze the content of web pages to assess whether the page contains information that might be relevant to what the users are looking for. So, oh my gosh, how relevant is my page if, I don't know, Romy asks, I don't know, can I go, the best hotel in Greece in the next 3 weeks? I wonder what would come up. Then we have ranking useful pages. That's that's for a typical query, and that's the thing. There are thousands, even millions of web pages with potentially relevant information. Obviously, I just need to say keywords because that's what it's based on. So to help rank the best pages first, Google also writes algorithms to evaluate how useful these pages are. Then we have usability of web pages. Google search also evaluates whether web pages are easy to use, meaning if you have, I don't know, let's say your first landing page, the first one, and if you have there, menus and 1,000 links, and I come there and I just, it's so small and I can't see it, I'd be obviously not happy with this, but guess what? Google neither. Then we have context and settings. So it's information such as location, past search history. Then we have settings, and all this will help to tailor your results. So you really have to make Google happy to put you on this, first page. Then, wait a minute, I want to say here, if you here, you see the source. It's google.com. It's how search works, algorithms. I would really advise you to read about that before you touch anything. Before you touch anything, meaning before you start changing your web page, if your web page needs changing. Then we go to Google Search Index. What is Google Search Index? Why is this important? So, as you know, Google works 24/7 all the time. Google the machine, I mean. Google continuously collects and stores information about web pages in a search index. And this index, it's some sort of library, except that it contains more info than in all the works libraries put together. So each data, each information is stored in this index. So anything that exists or lives in the net. So when we search in Google, then, and I write, I don't know, my Greek hotel in, I don't know, in the island of Corfu, for example, then Google will go through this index, not directly from the web, because this would take too long time, and then I will get my first page. So to understand that, it's really important, because if you understand it, you can improve your ranking. You can satisfy, the Google search index or the machine to put you higher up. How does this work? please visit, our training section. I'm sure Magda is sharing all these things with you. Take time, to devote yourself to that and to, to understand it better. So we spoke about this mass of information or index. Now we will speak quickly about the speed. Yeah, that's another one which changed through the years. I remember when internet was kind of super new and he was super happy, that something happened here. Today, if it doesn't happen in 3 seconds, you're already, on the edge, of being ignored. They made a research, and these 3 seconds, 50% of asked people said, yeah. Well, they were not asked; they were tested. After if it didn't work in 3 seconds, it was gone. Next. And this test was conducted in 2017. I don't know if you noticed, but in these sessions we are mentioning the year 2017. That's where this really started to be really important. We are now already 4 years into that. Imagine what will happen in the next 4 years. So it's really, really good to be here to get ready. Mobile is changing the world. I don't need to say anything about that because, just go on the street, go on a train, we stop talking, we are now staring in our little devices. I'm unfortunately not much different. I prefer to work with my mobile phone than sit behind a table, switch on the computer and such. It's speed again. I even, got myself, bigger screen so that I can get even more work done. So your web page or whatever you have needs to be mobile friendly, because please be aware, Google takes a mobile first approach. Search results are served based on their mobile ranking positions. You can have beautiful web page. If this page doesn't work on your mobile, it's not good for the future. We have demanding reader. What does that mean? Who is a demanding reader? If we just read that, 53% of users will abandon a page if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load on a mobile device. I spoke about that in the last 2 slides. That's true. I don't know if you see, here in this our graphic, this circle of death, which never, when you see that and it goes on for 10 seconds, it's already okay. Their page doesn't work. I don't want to use it anymore. Abbreviations, AMP versus non-AMP pages. What I would suggest, because we live in this fast world, write down, what mean, the meaning of these abbreviations if you don't know them, and try to learn them. AMP, accelerated mobile pages, or what does that actually mean? A web development framework that ensures web content is lean, it's quick to download and fast to draw on screen. So if your page is not AMP, it's really, really bad. But it's not that difficult to do. You just need, to have clear. You have to clearly instruct whoever's in charge of your, web development or web pages. So when implementing EMP, it helps to make sure the content, to sure that the content is very close, as the regular version of the article. AMP pages can be monetized. Careful, if you hear that, it's money involved. So that means, okay, once again, let's go through that because it's important. So these AMP pages can be monetized, and they can be monetized through ads, so advertising, at the same time as the standard canonical version of your site. What that means, if you are paying advertising, if you have pay-per-click, if this thing doesn't work and people keep clicking on it, that means your results, well, you will pay for it, plus you will get, wrong results or bad results, which won't be representative. So if you implement this AMP correctly, so it will definitely have a positive impact on your ranks and your click-through rates in mobile search, even though it's not a ranking factor for the standard or canonical version of the article. I would check. Now listen, these are important. So the Atlantic, San Francisco Chronicle, and also BBC, because all these three, so the Atlantic and San Francisco Chronicle and BBC, they all are using this AMP, as we said, AMP, accelerated mobile pages. And I would especially observe it from this perspective. So how is their content different if I check it on on mobile or if I check it somewhere else? I know it's a bit complicated, but for now, just think, okay, I need AMP and I need fast mobile, in order that I can, gain everything. We'll go now through a few case studies. Condé Nast, the giant of publishing, they publish really, really beautiful magazines, also in print, among others. And they were one of the first ones, of course, who implemented AMP. Of course, they could afford it. And 1 year after using AMP on Vanity Fair, their search result went from 5.9% to 10.3%, and the average position in in SERP, this means search engine first page, went from 5.9 to 1.7. So that means almost 80% of the search traffic in mobile came through AMP searches, of course. And I don't think this will change. So after a year, they saw 80% better results. And during that time, Condé Nast used the lessons learned on the Vanity Fair pilot, and they deployed it on other, on other magazines which they are publishing as well. It's nice source to read about that, but they had all the resources in the first place, which made this transition easier. Now we go to PWA. What is PWA? Progressive Web Application. What does that mean? So, progressive web apps use modern web capabilities to deliver an app-like experience. How shall I describe that? They involve from pages in browser tabs to immersive top-level apps, maintaining the web flow friction at every moment. So, progressive web application, it's virtually faster copy of your web page if you wish. And then the progressive web apps work everywhere, and they are, supercharged in modern browsers. So I would say that's a really important application, which, for example, where I work, or when I work as a freelance, we are applying that. And I would say, yeah, it's a really necessity these days. And then you say, yeah, okay, PWA, it's new to me. What impact, does it have in the news industry? Many in the media and news industry have decided, for progressive web applications, PWA, remember these abbreviations, for engaging their readers and enhancing the customer's experience. But what does this PWA do? So PWA modernizes and streamlines the need for websites in the native application. What does that mean? That means that there's often low resistance to change in many organizations, because they are actually reducing the number of assets they need to look after. So as with any such change, keep in mind the 2 S of the customer. So customer engagement and customer experience. So it's not so much about this, about the background stack. It's really, do I engage? Do I focus on engagement, or do I focus on experience? It's really close, but they are different. No worries, we'll go through that shortly. We go now to RCS Media Group. They are, I don't know, probably if you work in with European, Europeans, you probably know that RCS Media Group is one of Europe's, top, they're really known. It's one of top multimedia groups. They're publishing newspapers, magazines, and of course, online content primarily in Southern Europe, which is in Italy and Spain. And for example, this would be Corriere della Sera, La Gazzetta dello Sport, El Mundo in Spain, Oggi, Amica, Io Donna, Living Style, you know, all these magazines basically. And you see, in Southern Europe, I mean, I can speak from my own experience. Printed media was really, really popular. You know, that was part of the culture. You go, I mean, I went when in Italy, definitely in the morning, you know, for a coffee and, you know, to Tabacchi to get my newspaper and sit there and read and then engage, because that was kind of, you know, part of the culture. Yeah. And now it's headphones and I'm by myself there. But that's how it is. So we have to, you know, get used on that. But what happened with RCS Media Group? They said, okay, we'll go with this, you know, AMP version, you know, to check the optimized pages. And what happened? They had 98, almost 100% rise in unique users month on month. They have 190% more page views and 72% faster load times. So I would suggest, you know, to research a little bit in this case. And of course, we have to speak about money as well. And Fabio Napoli, that's, you know, the head of business of their digital news department, he said that, they are still exploring, you know, about monetization approach to understand. And they are big ones. They still learn to understand which ad formats are the most effective. So, and he also said that, that they are focusing, of course, on both AMP and PWA. So that's from the big ones. Another case study, okay, beautiful. We can have here Financial Times we can take. For example, also, you know, they use PWA, and, you know, their statistics quite, you know, fast. Maybe after a few months show that it's 75% faster loading with prefetch, 58% more conversions, money subscriptions, 49% more daily active users. Even their organic traffic increased, doubled. And they have, you know, twice more views per session. So this is then this one. But what does that mean? Of course, this didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't, you know, just good luck, first time success. They were actually testing with an agency, all that, and they followed their competitors. I think you have to know who is your competitor, and if something happens that they do and it's really good, I think you have to follow the example. So that's what else would be interesting to say here. That's pretty much everything. Oh yeah, they tried with you know, on web pages and with their newspapers. So they use, you know, both elements. If we move forward, it's a question time. I don't know. Do we have some questions, Magda? Magda, would you mind coming to see what's happening there in chat box today? I don't know if you can hear me.
I can.
Yeah.
Hi,
So
Romy.
yeah, do we have, that's Magda. Hi, Magda. Do we have any questions in general, or what's your thought about that? What's happening there in the chat box?
So we don't have any questions so far, but I was listening carefully to your presentation, Romy.
Yeah, that's.
And I'm thinking, wow, I looked at the Condé Nast currently through my mobile phone, and it looks really amazing, the page. So it's really nice to see some best practices from the market.
Yeah, so would you agree that what we are here presenting in case studies, that obviously Condé Nast was one of the first ones with all, you know, as I mentioned, they had all the resources and everything. And if you check the page and click around, how fast is it?
It's pretty fast. And, I'm checking it on my mobile. And what I also see is that they have really great pictures, and definitely they take care to, improve all the KPIs that you mentioned, so
Yeah.
that, we can have nice user experience.
Maybe, maybe you can try it out, like, right now, and then let us know in chat what you think. Thank you, Magda, so far. So now we know who's there with you in chat box. A really nice person. Please say hello, interact. I think this, human touch is still very important, despite, all this technology and stuff. Okay. Let's move on. Yeah, we are now going to speak about, how to speed up, how to get faster. It was really nice of Magda, to share her experience with Condé Nast. Obviously, Condé Nast is all these, fashion magazines, traveling stuff, and so did we like with beautiful pictures. So somebody who started doing that a few years ago with all resources, yeah, I learned a lot, learned a lesson, and it's today, on time with everything. But how do I speed up? We can do 2 tests. Number 1, it's test my site. So what does that mean? It's an easy way for businesses to measure, the site's performance across devices from mobile to desktop, and then providing a list of specific fixes that can help, our businesses connect more quickly with people. I don't know if you can see the link. It's this test my site. I think it's really good. And second one, Web Vitals. Get to know your new empowered readers and the journey they are on. Again, you have a web page indicated here if you want further information. You don't need to do that right now because, as mentioned, this is all recorded and you can go back. But what does that actually mean? Test my site. It's basically measuring performance across devices from mobile, desktop, anything that you have, and providing you with data. And obviously, if it's your numbers are in red, it's not good. And Web Vitals, that's an initiative by Google to provide you guidance, for quality signals and, to delivering a great user experience on the website. You have to make people happy so that they keep coming back. As mentioned, Google My Test Site, they will measure mobile friendliness, mobile speed, desktop speed. It's all about speed. You'll be scored out of, 100 for each. 100 is the best. As mentioned, I think it's 100 to 90, it's okay. 90 to 70, it's not so. And I would say, they say below 50 is not okay, but in my opinion, below 70, it's already, alarm. I need to improve, otherwise I'll start losing my followers. And these Web Vitals, if you are, with Google Analytics and stuff, I'm sure you already know these platforms. If not, don't worry, but, learn about this too. Google Web Vitals, what is it? That's a performance report based on a set of common quality signals that directly affect, the user experience. So I'll give you now some abbreviation. LCP, FID, CLS. It's like, yeah, sure. What does that mean? Largest contentful paint. So first input delay and cumulative layout shifts. What does that mean? So let's say I'm on your page, and how long do I have to wait that something appears? Did your screen freeze? How I now, if I have to scroll from down and up or from page to page, is this, do I get lost? Do I find home back? It's all that. It's all about that. So I would really go with first input delay, cumulative layout shifts, and largest contentful paint. And all that can be found in data management workshops, and I really think they are super important because data is what we need to know. We are on the right track and we can earn money. Case study, The Sun. I'm sure you know The Sun. The Sun is, a very popular British newspaper. They have their newspaper website, of course, and they launched. They started with their web, program and stuff in 2016. So we were mentioning 2017. They were even earlier, and of course, their growth went, through the roof. A lot of people read their publication even online, and since the engineering team primary, they were building the product capable of keeping up with the demands of a busy newsroom. Sun, of course, managed that, and then they had, yearly review or audit, if you wish. And this audit showed them, that it needed to improve performance of the website to provide a better user experience. How do you get, this kind of information? You have to, again, engage with your readers. And of course, you have to observe now also, this Google information about your website. And obviously, they then decided to correct what was wrong, especially, given the Google result pages. And after they changed that, so after they changed their metrics and they, delivered better user experience, 66%, they saw 66% increase in organic search, plus, a 30% decrease in bounce rate, which is actually a brilliant result. But another thing is, okay, you always have to check, do audits, and it may be today your page is great and everything, but in 3 weeks it might not be. User interference. So as you know, user interference, user experience, these are terms which are really close but not the same. So what's this user interface all about? It's a key part of the user experience, and it's worth putting, it's worth to really take care of it and make sure it's always optimized. So you have to be, if your user interface is good, you won't be worried about your competitors, and it's a good idea to be aware of the latest user experience and user interface trends. So UX, it's user experience, and UI, it's user interface. The thing is, this is changing. It's, today is fine, maybe in 3 weeks you will have to change something. So, and then here in the UK they have, it's called the Drum, and this is kind of, annual awards for publishers. And I would really go there to the Drum website to check who are the best, who are their winners, because all those, they will have good user interface and good user experience. The Drum, Google it. Then on the following pages, we will then check a bit. We will have some case studies, so we'll go closer to that. When you think about user interface, you always have to think, what would I like to have if I would be the user? Or how would I like to have that? So you have to consider, or you have to know that interface, it's a vital part of the experience. And there are about 25 suggested principles, which, Google suggested for mobile design, for mobile site designs, and how these mobile, designs drive, to drive conversion. So if I'm good on mobile, how can I convert, monetize, get money, or at least, get the suitable data for my advertisings? So what should we say here? Homepage and site navigation. Call to action, red button, click on me right now, simply explained. A homepage is always something what attracts the visitor when it goes to, to a user screen. And the homepage of any website serves as the welcome page and message center, so it should be simple. A homepage on mobile screen ideally displays the content the visitor is looking for, so that's a tiny difference. So any extra elements on the page would not, only take time to load, but also may look, clumsy. So what do we learn about that? Call to action, click on me now, and less is more. That's that in short. And then what kind of suggestion would there be? For example, If you have call to action, the red button, click on me now, put it in front and center. It should be really, my instinct should say, finger, click there. Menu should be short. Normally it's right top, 3 lines. They call it hamburger in the States. Click on hamburger, approve, 5 things to select from. It's already too much maybe. So menu should be short and sweet. And you should always make it easy to go back to the home page. No back to Kansas, home button. And don't push promotions on the first page. This can come later. There are other versions to do that. Site search, obviously you have to be visible. We don't need to discuss much more about that. And but what would be good, it's implement filters to improve site search usability. This will be explained later, or it could be also explained in our roundtable in the afternoon. And guide users to better site search results. That's important. Usability and form factor. What should we say about that? We are here. Yeah. Website, mobile, iPad, it should work on all 3 in a really pleasant way. Mobile phone. Like that or like that? Both. And let me check what would be more interesting here. Yeah, it's basically optimization. Oh, and make product images expandable. Let's say I want to buy something and the image is tiny and I can't see it. I would like to click on it, that it expands, that I can see it, and then it easily can get back in, into the original position. Also, it's all these, zoom options that you make it bigger or smaller, that you can see well. And you have to be super clear when you are referring to, location. Let's say I'm based here in London. I'm not really interested in something which is 500 miles away if I need it now and here. So location, it's also an important fact. Then maybe we just go quickly to forum entry. What would be that? That's basically how can I, let's say I like it. I like what I see and I say, oh, I don't have time right now, but yes, I would like to be subscribed to their newsletter or something. And then it's this forum. And then I have to write, I don't know, half of my CV there. No, make it simple. If an email and name, that's sufficient, you can later get more, details about a certain subscriber, but not in the first go. Because I notice sometimes I want to subscribe if there is, more than name and email and phone number, which I often, just pretend with something else. I'm already, too much. It's too much for me. So I don't do it. So short is better. Commerce and conversions. Customer behavior on the site is different for every customer. Users are basically expecting to convert, on their own terms. I don't want you to tell me what you want from me. I want, to decide for myself. And Google provides 5 principles on converting visitors on your site. And that's, that's our kind of commandments. Let users explore before they commit. Let users purchase as a guest. Use existing information to maximize convenience. Use click-to-call buttons for complex tasks, and make it easy to finish converting on another device. Let's say I find something what I like, and I click on it, and I still want to scoop around, research, and then give me your email, and otherwise you can't continue. I will most probably leave the page and go straight to somebody else who let me walk around. I mean, it's superhuman. Sometimes when you go to the shop, you also like to walk around a little bit. You don't want this shop assistant to be, how can I help you? What do you want to buy? Oh, then normally we run out as fast as we can. Here we have, this was award-winning case study for their design in 2020. In previous session, I was already mentioning it. They were they're targeting younger generation, 13 to 25, and they are now well, they have certain focus. And the Pink News website was, they actually started with this website in 2015. So that's now already 6 years ago. And yeah, they were learning and everything. And then about, 2019, they noticed, oh, it's out of date. We don't get enough, interaction and stuff. So they redesigned everything. And they, they were Pink News, LGBT. They decided to be bright, vibrant, nice content, everything. And yes, it worked. It worked. But also very important, they redesigned the desktop, mobile web. They use Google AMP, the function which I was mentioning before, even Facebook, instant action layout. So they modernized totally, following the rules which we were mentioning before. And yes, they won. And also, their members increased. Then another British one, it's the ITV News, very well known. Again, last year they relaunched because they wanted to get connected, to younger generations. And the younger generations, this is totally, digital audience, because they basically grow up with, iPads, all these games and stuff. For them, that's super normal. If it's not there, then it probably doesn't exist in many instances. And they decided to create a special, platform, which was called the Rundown. And that was new. It was, digital. So, and the news was aimed to everybody aged 14 to 17. I checked it, and it's really good, even for me. I'm, slightly over these ages, but they did a good job. So I would suggest you to Google. It's called the Rundown, to see how it looks like. Again, another one, Sky News, another one which is big and British. Sky News broke new ground again 2019, and they decided to use storytelling tools. So they added actually these storytelling tools to the app, and they invested in graphic designers and data journalists, to get, first of all, to make it look good, and to get relevant information with which they, could then target the audience better. They created a podcast series, Storycast, as mentioned. Podcast, it's really your recording put online. Okay, it can be, it can be done really nicely with some music implements and similar. And they also used less text and used more videos and design. So graphic designer, data journalist, and you to simplify everything. It's probably a winning formula. Case study, Expressen Sport. Now we go to, oops, no, that was done. Sky News. Okay, this one we did, Expressen Sport. We go back to the Nordic success. The Expressen Sport app improves content engagement with new onboarding and navigation. This publication is very interesting because, they started, in general, they are Swedish, and they started in 1944. So that's serious success that they came, through all these, changes, and now they are embracing the new digital transformation as well. But what they did, obviously, you need educated audience, because they have to know how to use whatever you're offering. So they managed that, so that everybody was, kind of able to use it. But they used a new onboarding flow, which managed, these push notifications to all those who, kind of subscribed. And they had this, they also played with navigation, contextual navigation tool, where, top header changes given, what's happening to the most relevant links. I'm sure, I'm really sorry I didn't check that now during this football Euro 2020, because I'm sure that this would be a great example how an application like that, shows its real potential. And what happened, always results. They increased for 17% compared to their main app, and they got 7% users just because of this, video games. Now, do we have any questions? Magda, can you come back? What's happening there in your world?
Hello, back, Rami. So I see Michael is asking for the link to 25 mobile design principles.
Yes.
I shared with him the source right now.
I would say, and probably you would agree with me, that design is really crucial, when you are implementing anything online these days, because we all go with colors and these interactive designs.
Absolutely. It's so crucial now.
Yeah. So that was so much about this user experience and user interface, which are kind of twins or almost twins, and you have to satisfy both. So thank you, Magda, and
thank you, Rami.
We continue, because I think I'm a little bit late. I'm running out of time. Oops, let's do that quickly. User experience and design. Okay, I think with google.com, please go there and check what's working. Then let's summarize this together. We were talking about ranking and such. So make sure you satisfy Google demand. If that works, no problem. You will be there on the first page if you apply your keywords correctly. Speed matters. Invest in that. As mentioned, remember 3 seconds rule. If it's slow, people will just go. User interface, make it nice. If I am, using my mobile phone, I want to see it from both position, vertical, diagonal. It needs to work. Otherwise, I'll go somewhere else where it works. And it's superhuman. Questions? None so far. In the afternoon, we will continue with, crafting digital newsletters. You're super welcome. Maybe you will have some things. Maybe we can then chat, openly share our experiences. If you have specific questions, send an email, which I'm sure Magda provided there, but be specific. What do you need? What do you want? It's really great time to be here, because that's our future for sure in the next few years. I told you, roundtables when we chat face-to-face via Google Meets, labs, check the links, Digital Grow Labs, everything's described there. It's really nice and clear. And as always, I kindly ask you to fill out our feedback form. Tell us what you liked, what you didn't like, or what you think we need in general. That would be super helpful. And otherwise than that, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're getting something out of that, and see you soon.